I thought I'd redo this video on food. Most of us live in the city, but may still see the need to stock up. But you may not want to become a target later on in a really populated area, or look like a nutcase now before anything's happened. Well, I'm going to walk you through some ways you can do this with avoiding these other two situations. First off, start with canned goods. They last for several years. Personally, I buy mainly the cans that have a solid top, not easy to open. I just don't think they'll last as long. I don't know. It's just I'm kind of funny about that. Second thing, dry goods, dry food like sugar, rice, beans, nuts, turkeys. Don't buy a bunch of MREs. You can only eat them for like a month. They're not good for you. They're bland, and most often they're expensive. Do you want to spend 10 to 12 bucks on one meal, or 10 to 12 bucks on several meals? You can buy rice and beans. 1 pound of rice makes 2 pounds when it's cooked. It makes a lot of sense, especially on a limited budget. Every time you go to the store, stock up. Put 10 bucks aside. Buy a little bit of canned stuff. Stock up at dollar stores on canned food, medical supplies, cleaning equipment. You ever notice when you walk out of the grocery store, you look at the few bags you have in your hand and think, this is all I got for all I spent? Even if you don't buy, the most expensive name brands, I promise this is only going to get worse. On average, people have maybe a week's worth of food in their home at best. So thousands of people will start looting grocery stores when there's a problem with our dollar. Not if, but when. And the shelves will be empty in minutes. They say, well, in 3 days. No, that's normal shopping levels, not a panic and people want to stock up real quick. You're talking about a couple minutes, 20 minutes tops maybe. Then what happens? Many people will be left without food. What happens then? Well, some will start hunting and fishing. So, learn to clean small game and fish. You can't just shoot and eat a rabbit, a raccoon, wild pig, or even a fish unless you know what you're doing. What happens if you cut the bladder? What does the bladder look like? And some of these animals carry nasty parasites. Some carry them seasonal, some all year round. That's a horrible way to go, eating contaminated meat. Also, for you out there who say, I'll hunt deer and live off the land. No, you won't. With millions of people, hunting and fishing will exhaust all food resources. 300 million people in the U.S. and 10 million deer. Do the math. During the Depression, we almost wiped out wild game, and there were less people and more wooded areas back then. So what you want to do, like I said, put as little as 10 bucks into extra food every time you go to the grocery store. Buy at dollar stores. You want to fill up your kitchen, cupboards, and cabinets. That way, it's the first thing you load up. It's the first thing you eat later on. Makes sense. Buy canned goods and go to Walmart, go to Target, ask for empty boxes. Fill these boxes, stash them under your bed and in the closet. Get a magic marker and mark them as clothing or Christmas decorations or some bullshit. Who's gonna know? Who's gonna know, huh? You can hide it right in the open. Another thing you can do is grow tomatoes, peppers, garlic, and other easy to grow veggies and herbs on your window sills or patio. Find areas in your house's unused area you can put these boxes filled up, or just a couple cans or something, just hide them. Hide them right in the open where nobody notices. Under the sofa or something. There's got to be places that people won't notice unless they're intentionally looking. When you stock up, rotate it out. Learn to trap, clean, and dress wild game. And learn how to can your own food. Learn to make jerkies out of this meat. Buy a pellet gun. Why mention a pellet gun instead of, shit hit the fan weapons? Well, for hunting squirrels, birds, this may be what you have to eat. There may not be much other meat out there. You can shoot small animals with a pellet gun. You shoot them with a larger caliber, there's going to be nothing left. Think about it. If you and your family are hungry enough, you'll probably start eating and hunting people's pets in the neighborhood. I know I would. Learn to clean and dress. This is really important. Even the most serious prepper is going to wind up running out of food. What are you going to eat then? Ants, crickets? Not knowing how to do anything else? Learn to set traps, learn to clean and dress, small birds and wild game. Cook the crap out of it. Overdone. A long, slow cooked stew or something like that. If nothing happens and I'm wrong, well then what happens then? You save money on grocery bill, all the extra stuff you got put aside, you make money on the silver that I recommend, and you have a gun for target shooting and self-defense. But if I'm right and you do nothing, you and your family could starve or be killed by desperate people. How can it not be worth a couple of hours of research? Especially if it's your family. If you don't care about your family, why should anyone else?